Okay, so first I am going to open this is C compiler, and I'm going to write a simple program there and see how procedural approach is followed. So this is Turbo C++ compiler. So here one program is already present here. So now I'm going to take a new file. So in this program, I'm going to calculate average of three numbers. So to calculate average of three numbers, first we need three numbers. So I'm going to declare three a space for storing three numbers. So first name is n1. So here n1 simply means variable. You will study about variable in Java also. Means uh, you will also use these variables for your program in Java. But now here I am using in C programming. So here n1, n2, and n3. So you just can consider these three as variables to store your three numbers that of which you have to find the average. And then I need one more variable. Uh, so here I am going to take AVG, the fourth variable, to store the region. Means when you calculate the average, so you will find the fourth number. So that will be the your answer, or that will be the average of these three numbers. Okay, so here I have declared four variables to store four number values, and now I'm going to take, or now I'm going to assign values in these three variables. So for n1, I'm going to take 12. Means my first number is 12, and 2 equals to 14, and the third number n3 equals to let us take 18. Okay, now I have these three numbers. So now I can calculate the average. So AVG equals to, I have to add these three number values. So N1 plus N2 plus N3. And after addition, uh, the value or the sum should be divided by 3. Okay. So now with this expression, average value can be easily calculated. So now I'm going to display all these value in the output. For this, I'm going to use printf. printf. I'm again saying that you don't worry about what I am typing here, about these instructions. You just have to see here how I am going to uh, perform this operation step by step. So I'll explain all these steps after execution of this program. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So now my program is ready. So this program is written in a high level language, you can say, means the language that we can understand if someone has learned about this C programming. But this language cannot be executed by the computer. So here the next thing we have to do is to compile. So compile means to convert these instruction into machine language so that computer can execute this program. Okay. So first of all, compile and check for errors. So you can see compile in compilation. So there is one error. So there should be zero error. Then you can run your program. So what is the error? Yes, this statement missing. So here in this line, uh, there should be this semicolon symbol. So now once again compile. So now you can see there is no error. Then now I can execute this program. So you can see in the output, first number equals to 12, second number equals to 14, third number equals to 18, and average equals to 14. Is it correct? What do you say? Am I audible or not?
Yes, sir.
So reply now. So just see here.
Sir, the average is in decimal.
Yes, average should be in decimal because here I have used int type. So here int stands for integer type of value. So in integer type of value, decimal part is neglected, na?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So if I change this into float, then this result will display in decimal part also. Okay. So just ignore this thing here. Now see here. What is here procedural approach? The first thing here I have done is declaration of variables. So the programming question is to calculate average of three numbers. So whenever we have to perform an operation like this, so first of all, we decide how many variables we need in this program. So as you can see here, we have to calculate average of three numbers. It means you can just see that here three numbers are involved in this program. So we need to store these three numbers somewhere in the computer. For this purpose, we need variables. So you can see N1, N2, and N3. These three variables are to store three numbers. okay, of which we have to find average. After this, the fourth variable is taken here. The name is AVG. So this fourth variable will store the result, the average value of these three number values. Okay. So in this program, we need four variables. Okay. After this declaration of variable, now here in this part, you can see I have stored or I have taken three values in these three variables. The next step it is. Okay, the first step was to declare variables. The next step is to store, yeah, to take values in or to take input in variables. Okay, so if we have to find average of three numbers, then we need numbers. So these are the three numbers. Okay, so with these three lines, three numbers are now stored inside these three variables n1, n2, and n3. So now if we have three values available to us in the program, so now we can easily calculate the average. So as you calculate average manually in pen paper method, so you can just compare your method with this one. So here I have done the same thing, that first I have added these three values, then I have divided the sum by the three. So you can see first we have to add. So here I have kept these variables or the addition portion inside this bracket, just following the BODMAS rule here. Okay. And then you can see division symbol and three. Okay. So whatever the result comes from this expression, so that result will be stored inside this AVG variable. So this is the third step. Now, after this line, we have our result stored inside this AVG variable. So the last thing we have to do here is to display all this in the output. Na? Means to display all these three numbers, means what are the numbers here I have taken for calculating average, and what is the average value of these three number values. So for this, you can see here I have taken these four statements. So these four statements are actually the output statements to display all these three number values. So the first three values you can see, first number equals to, and first number is stored inside n1 variable. Then you can see second number equals to. So here the thing written inside double inverted comma is actually the message. We generally follow this type of thing in solving maths also. Means first number equals to this, second number equals to this, like this only. So these are the first statements to display the result. So here in this program, here I am following a step by step manner to get the average value. Understood everyone?
Yes, sir. So where is the result displayed?
Where is result displayed? So
Yes, sir.
to execute this program, you can see here na run tab or run menu. So just use this. So here in this output, you can see first number. Is it visible, all of you, to all of
Yes.
you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
So,
sir.
so this is the output. Understood everyone?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
whenever we get any problem to write a program for this in C language, so we every time follow this kind of approach. Means we solve or we write program in C just by following a step-by-step manner. Means first we declare the variables, then we take input from user or directly in this program. Okay, now after getting input, we perform certain kind of processing. And just you can see in for calculation of average. So it is a kind of processing statement. where these three values are added, and after this the sum is divided by 3 and it is stored in the one of the variable as a result. Okay, and the last thing here I have done is to display all these values on the output screen. Okay, so this is a
Yes.
procedural approach for writing a program. Procedure means steps, means in a sequence of a step, you can write your whole program. So it is one of the simplest way for writing program because it is matching with our real life also. Means in real life, uh, we generally follow this approach for solving any problem. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you one program in Java where object-oriented programming approach is followed. So that program is little bit more complex than this C programming. So again, I'm saying that you don't worry about what are the lines written there because you will study all these things in your class somehow and coming class 9 and 10. Okay, in class 9 and 10 in computer science your whole book is of Java programming language. Okay, so
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
what
sir.
so
Yes,
whatever
okay.
you will study here in this class 8, uh, it will create actually the base for your class 9. Okay, so now I'm going to close this one. So no need to save. So this is a program in Java programming language. Okay, so now see here. Here you can see uh, there is a declaration of class. The name of the class is student. Okay, our whole program is inside this class student. You can see here. Means this last curly bracket actually marking the end of this class student. Okay, so now we have a class named student here. So for student, what are the properties you can take? Properties as well as the behavior of the student. Tell me. I'm saying that for a student, what are the properties you can take? So just see here. You can see here personal details. So in personal details, what are the properties you can take for a student? So the first thing you can see is TU name, means the name of the student. Next, father's name. You can also add mother's name. The next thing, age, height. So these are the properties of a student or not?
Yes, sir.
Not everyone is replying. For a student, what are the properties? So there will be the name of the student or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Father's name will be there for a student. Age will be there.
Yes, sir.
Height will be there for the student. So these things you can consider as the personal properties, means personal details of a student. Now consider this academic details. So in academic details, if a student is appearing in an exam, So the marks detail will be there. So for this, you can see PHY, math, CHE. Means these are the properties of the student which are indirectly related. Means after appearing in an exam, so the marks scored by the student. So with these properties, you can assign. So here you can see how many subjects, 2, 4, and 5. 5 subjects. Then there is total marks. There is percentage marks. Okay.
Sir, what is this int, float, and static?
Actually, these are data types. Data types means here I have here these are age and height. These are actually variables. Means some values we can store inside these variables. So this data type actually signifies here that what kind of value will be stored in these variables. So here int stands for integer, means in age variable and height variable, we can store only integer type of value, not decimal type of value. Okay. Here also you can see uh, the marks in different subjects are also of type int. Int means again integer type. Means whatever the value will store inside these variables, those values must be of type integer only. Now the next data type you can see float. So here float supports fractional type of value. Means when you calculate your percentage marks, so the percentage marks can be of integer as well as of decimal type. Both it can be. Na?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the data type here for percentage mark is float. It means in percentage marks we can store uh, integer type of values like 88%, 90% directly, or we can store decimal type of values like 19.8%. But in case of integer, we can't store decimal type of values. Understood the difference?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so whenever we have to declare any variable for our program, so we need to specify the type of variable. Means what type of value this variable will store. Okay. So int and float, these are the two data types. Uh, Many more data types are also there. You will study in your class about these data types. Okay. Here you can say a string. So a string is again a type. Means here you can see the variable name is stu name, father's name. So we can't take this variable of type integer, no? Because the name contains alphabetical values, not number values. No?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
that
sir.
is why the type here is a string, not int or float here. Okay, so don't worry about these instructions. Means what is written here in this instruction. You will come to know when your class progresses, or again in class 8 also you'll know about these things. Okay, so don't worry about this. So in object oriented programming, there must be at least one class. So just like you can see here in this program, there is a class named student, and inside class, properties of the student are declared using various data types. Just you can see stu name, father's name, age, height. These are the properties. Then you can see details of marks, like marks in different subjects, total marks, percentage marks. So these all are actually the properties. Now come to the behavior. So in behavior, we actually use methods. So input data, there is one method that is input data. So this method is here to take input in all these properties. Means if we have a stu name, then there must be the name of the student. So we need to take in input what is the name of the student there. So just like a student name, there will be father's name, there will be the value for age, there will be value for the height. So all these values will be taken with the help of this input data method. After taking input in these variables or these properties, there is another method named display. So this method is responsible to display the output of all these properties. So you can see name of the student, father's name. So all these things will be displayed in the output with help of this display method. Now another method you can see calc total. So this method is responsible for calculating the total marks scored by the student. So now you can see in the first statement, I have added all these variables, means to get the total marks. The next method is calc PER. So this calc PER means calculate percentage. So this method will calculate the percentage marks. So you can see here obtained marks I have divided by 5 to get the percentage marks. So this method when it will be executed, so this method will calculate the percentage marks. And the last method you can see calc div. So calc div stands for calculate division. So based on the percentage marks, here this calc div method will calculate the division, means whether the student is first division, second division, third, or fell. So this method will calculate this thing here. So so is it looking like the same C programming or it is looking different, totally different from that?
Sir, different.
Sir, not so much different.
Why? In C programming, is there any method for calculating separate things? Was there any method?
No, sir. Only we have to enter the values and process.
We there are only following the sequence of a step, no?
Yes, sir.
But here in this case, the single problem is divided into multiple sub problems. Means input section is different, output section is different, calculation of total marks is different, calculation of percentage marks is different. Means not all things are mixed together here in various steps. Here I have not written any steps like thing here. Here one thing I have declared, the thing is a student class, and for student class I have declared the properties of a student, and next the behavior in terms of methods. Okay, so in the next class I'll show the object of this student class, means how an object is accessing all these properties here as well as the methods here. Means if here we have made one student class, so there can be different students now. So all these students will have different properties, means the different student name, different father's name, different will be the age value, height value, marks scored by them. So with the help of objects we can access these properties and to store different type of values here. Okay, so again I am saying that you don't have to worry about what are the instructions I have written in this program. You first understood learn this concept, means what is this object oriented programming. Okay,
Okay, sir.
Okay, then that's all for today.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.